Good evening, keeping up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and joining me as every Thursday, my good buddy Digger Jim. Although I forgot to send him the link because I was shadow banning him for some reason. Jim, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm feeling better. No more tooth issues. I'm ready to rock.
Good. And of course, our guest tonight, first time guest, and a great friend of the channel, great supporter of the channel. So happy to have him. But he has successfully, like the slyest and stealthiest of ninjas, avoided me in Rochester, New York.
Yes. The sprawling metropolis that it is.
Right. Zach's Collections is on tonight to do a card edition of the 10-1. Zach, how are you doing, man? It's great to finally
this is awesome. Thanks for bringing me on. This is going to be a lot of fun. It was fun picking out stuff and wondering like what in the world do I bring out to show, and I think I got some interesting stuff from all genres.
All right, so what we're going to do now is we make you big because it's all about you.
Oh, Lord.
And give the quick 2 minutes who you are, where people can find you. We'll go say hi to the chat, and then we'll come back to you for your first item and let you kick it off.
Sounds like a plan. Well, in a nutshell, I am Zach. The channel there it is, Zach's Collections. Open up whatever I can get my hands on. Yeah, thanks, David. Normally sports cards, trading cards, but I do history stuff. Jank Pack Thursday. If there is old gum, it will be eaten. 2 weeks ago, it was 30-some years old from Ireland and splotchy, but yet I still ate it and am alive. And that's basically the gist of it. Every Thursday, I just do something really ridiculous. Tonight was Backstreet Boys cards because they happened to be in the box.
Oh,
so Jank Pack is such a great idea. Like, it's so fun. You just never know what's coming up.
So what is that?
It's basically what I say.
The wheel of Jank.
Yeah, Jank. It's like anything old, weird, like all the movie and TV show cards they did in the 70s and 80s.
Right. So like Gary B, old and weird. Right. Got it.
They call it a Jank Pack, right? So that's what he named it, a Jank Pack.
I got you.
So like basically Jank. A lot of the stuff is from like the junk wax era of cards, so basically literal dime a dozen.
Yeah. And
it's like some of the stuff I've opened, I never knew they existed or haven't seen in years.
And a lot of times, Jim, it has gum in it. I've seen him eat like what? What's the oldest gum you've eaten?
The oldest one, it was a pack of Three's Company cards. It was from 1976.
I think I got some of those one time.
Oh yeah, God. It was gum from the Bicentennial was the oldest I've eaten so far.
Yeah, I wanted that Chrissy card, man, Oh,
I think everybody did.
Yeah, no doubt.
But and then they stopped doing gum and cards in the mid-90s, and then it just hasn't been the same since.
Now, before we start, what pack gave you the worst gum you ever put in your mouth, where you're like, oh, you were regretting it?
That's a great question.
There was one. I think it was an Indiana Jones pack. It was from like maybe early 90s.
Yeah.
The gum was in a state where it hadn't gotten really hard like the real old stuff.
Mm.
If you can imagine, remember those big pink erasers we would have in school? That's of what it felt like biting it. The texture of it was like, yeah, it hurt my soul to a level that not much else has, nor could, probably in the next 10 years. But and I know I have another pack probably from that same era. It's Gremlins 2.
Ooh, Gremlins.
It came from one of the guys I know up in Canada, and it is I know there's gum in it, and that pack is very much open and very much exposed to 30-some years of air or 40-some years of air.
Man, God. I'd be like putting scope in my mouth after I had that.
I do. As soon as I cut, even before I like actually get the video to my computer, I go upstairs and brush my teeth.
Oh,
I have to. Like, it's just,
yeah,
it's so bad.
No doubt.
It's like Fallout shelter gum.
Yeah.
And it's Brian's fault because I would normally like either pawn it off or eat it off camera, but Brian was like, "Hey, why don't you flip it around so we can share in it?"
I know. Would you start doing that? That was fun because.
And I was like, you know what, may as well, and I did, and it's like, oh crap, well, now I can't back away from it.
Nice.
All right, let's say hi to our crowd, and then we'll bring it back to you, bud.
God,
First in, as always, Las Cruces. Good evening, James. Great to see you. Brad from Wellbore, from Canada. Sorry, I'm messing that all up tonight. We have one of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, Jerry.
Jerry.
We have Brian LCS. Good evening, Brian. Nice to see you.
He's the blame.
We have Mr. DVH. Guys, go sub him up. He is our Illuminati shout-out this week from the Comic Journey channel. So everyone go sub up DVH, one of the most entertaining people in our community and one of the best personalities. But he is very cruel to his kid and subjects Badger to some of the worst jokes I've ever heard in my life. Poor Badger. Poor Badger. We have David from Callie and Jordan Squad. Good evening, sir. A person that I need to get on to do what you're doing, to do his card 1011.
Yeah.
All right. And then
he's a lot of numbered Mike Trout cards. He knows.
Right. We have Rich, Comic Cat Collectibles, who will be on in a month or two, I think. I forgot which month I scheduled him in.
October, I thought.
I might have. We have Mr. Milt Miller, Flowers Comics. Good evening, Milt. Great to see you. Nice to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well over there. He's from Pennsylvania, Zach, and he's also a big Steelers fan.
I'm trying to convince my wife to go to Pittsburgh for a weekend getaway, but she's not having it. Maybe I should get Milt.
If you go to Pittsburgh, you need to go have lunch with Milt. It's great just to sit down with them and talk, and I got to hang out with them for a day. We had a great time.
I'll tell you, that city has changed so much since before I moved up to Rochester. Like back in those days, you did not want to go to some areas. Now they're like the most wanted to be in places in that city.
Yeah.
And David's telling you that the gum from Canada is great. Don't worry, Zach. I think he's putting
it's going to taste like moose and or maple.
Right. Good evening, Kenneth. Good to see you. And all right, so and as people keep popping in, I'm going to give them a quick tip of the hat. But Boggs, how you doing?
Hey, Boggs.
But for now, Zach, we're going to bring it back to you, and we'll let you start us out.
Yeah, well, basically because of the 10-1 one, I was like, let's pick like 10 different areas because it's trading. I have trading cards from everything. What you're going to see is a common theme. A lot of autographs, both purchased, given to me, or sent through the mail, one of my things, and a lot of gifts from the community. So I figured start off with baseball. For all the baseball fans, this one, a Chipper Jones autograph that I got from the collection of Adam's Card Closet, one of the biggest Chipper Jones fans in the universe. So if he's parting with one, I knew I had to get it. One I picked up for myself. It's a little hard to see. Oh, wait, you can kind of see the ink there, but it is a signed Derek Jeter.
Oh, nice.
That I picked up on eBay a while ago because I tried to send to him and unfortunately did not. But one guy I did send to ask for an autograph was that guy right there, Hank Aaron.
Oh, wow.
Zach, I grew up in Richmond, and we were the AAA. The Braves were our AAA. So I got to see Chipper Jones and all of those guys that come up through the ranks back in the 80s because they had to come up through Richmond to go to Atlanta.
Right. Rochester had the AAA for the Twins for a long time.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys came through here.
Yeah, I think saw Justice, you saw Chipper Jones, you saw oh man, I can't think of the guy's name.
Starting out with some hot baseball for number one. Now, Zach, we don't do a lot of cards on my channel. For all those people that are watching, can you give them a quick breakdown on what a TTM is?
Sure. TTM, basically, it's through the mail, referring to autographs. You do it a lot with sports cards, but can do it with anything. You send it to a celebrity, an athlete, or whatever, asking them to see if they'll sign it for you and hope for the best. And and on a long shot, and a lot of these are long shots, freaking Hank Aaron took the time to write his name on a piece of paper for me, basically. And it's like, and a lot of them just do it for free. A lot of the old timers will do it for free. Some will say like, 5, 10, $20 for a charity or whatever. But
I wish it was
like,
like
how
that
do
with
you get his
comics,
address?
right, Jim?
How do you get his address?
there's a lot of sites out there that are basically like fan mail address databases.
Okay.
I know Sports Card Forum is one. It's a free one. Star Tiger, you pay like a yearly subscription fee, but you get a lot of different addresses. And people who write to other celebrities will fill it in like, hey, I tried this address. It worked. It took this long, et cetera, et cetera.
Is it just sports or is it anybody?
Anybody. Like I've sent to actors. I've sent to
Really?
comic artists. Oh, yeah. I send, especially when they're on Broadway. I've got a lot of celebrities to sign photos for me on Broadway. Like Ed Harris signed for me. Brian Dennehy signed for me.
He's one of my favorite actors.
Harris.
Helen Mirren I got, which my dad is, I think, still secretly trying to off me to get.
Helen Mirren, yes, baby.
Now,
now,
Zach, so you're basically taking a chance because when you send that out, you may not see it again, right? Because they have to send it back.
Right. They're basically, I look at it, they're doing me a favor. So I never, and even like when you send to sports teams, some of them will say, we welcome fan mail, but please don't send anything of value.
Right.
Right.
It's like basically, I've never sent anything I wasn't willing to lose.
Right. Well, that was my other thing is like, do you send money with it to say, here's the money to pay for the shipment back? Or they just
if you're doing like a bulkier item, like I've never gotten into the logistics of sending somebody a baseball or something, but yeah, you would have to box it within a box and then pay the postage for the return.
Sure.
It's a lot easier with a card. It's just a regular stamped envelope.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, number 2, sir.
Number 2, then because we talk about it, it's football. There's some TTMs, some big TTMs, but this one actually was a gift from Vox. We got this. It's a numbered out of 149. Terry Bradshaw, the original TB12,
right?
Back in his Louisiana Tech uniform, and the fun story in I think '83, he checked into a hospital for surgery under the name Tom Brady to avoid the local media descending upon said hospital.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. No Tom Brady at that time. So that's
I mean, he was Tom Brady before Tom Brady was.
Yeah.
And
Milt said when he was a kid, he sent stuff away and always put a return envelope.
Well, that was what I was thinking. If you're sending a card, I would send a letter with the postage stamp in it and just say, sign
that's exactly what it is.
There. Yeah.
And David's saying that his daughters are smoking hot.
Yeah, they definitely are. They definitely are, and he's one of the funniest human beings to walk the planet.
I would say Bradshaw's always been a character. He's funny.
Hilarious.
And what I like is he's not too proud to take shots at himself.
No. Yeah, he definitely does.
He'll be the first person to make fun of himself.
You know, in an era where people are so sensitive, you got Terry who's like, yeah, whatever, I'll take it. I got my rings.
Yeah, that's right.
There was that one thing when they said, he's so dumb he couldn't spell cat if you spotted them the C and the T, and he's like, well, thank God my pilot can read.
Nice.
Okay.
You're not going to get them,
right?
And that's what you like to. That's what you like to see.
Yeah, just roll with it.
If you get offended that easy, then
you're in the wrong business.
Don't be in public anywhere.
Right. That is true. Milt Bradshaw did have the national high school javelin record for the longest time. He was a tremendous high school.
And I remember growing up too. Like I was reading, like I would, the Scholastic program at schools where you would order books.
Yeah, the Scholastic book fair.
Yeah, and I got like the Steelers Steel Curtain book, and I read that, and I was, you're big into them, and Mean Joe Green and the Iron Curtain and all sorts of stuff back then. It was just so good.
It was and sadly, I grew up after they had all retired for the most part.
Mm.
My Steelers quarterback of my childhood was Bubby Brister.
Nice.
Not Terry Bradshaw.
Not Terry Bradshaw.
but
that's okay. It's still nice to visit back though, right?
It is. And, but Bubby, I have to say, did sign a card for me when I sent it to him. So God bless Bubby Brister. But the one thing, you always take a chance with it, because on the third attempt, I got Roger Staubach to sign a card.
Wow. Nice.
That's impressive, because that man is all business.
He is all everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's loaded. I mean, like, the NFL was just a stepping stone for him onto doing like way more other things. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like Captain Comeback is, sums him up.
Yeah.
And another one, I guess I caught him at the right time. Jerry Rice. People may have heard of that guy.
Yeah.
I caught him on a good day, I guess on a good day, because like 2 or 3 months later, people were saying he's not signing at that address anymore.
Wow.
It's like,
yeah, I mean, he was the 90s.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like but then you look at it, and I saw an article recently, and it was Larry Fitzgerald might have been a better receiver, because he did a lot. He was real close to Rice, but who did he do it with?
Right, did it with a worse team. Yeah.
Right,
because
with subpar quarterbacks and stuff. Yeah,
because he only had Kurt Warner for the first 4 years of his career.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And it's like, wow, like he played like 3 years less than Rice, and his stats are up there. Yes,
and
sir.
it's weird, right? It's just like sometimes you just end up on the right team that fits you, and it makes your helps make your career. Obviously, they make their own career as part of it, but it helps to have a good team around you.
Yep.
Exactly. And like, God forbid if what would have happened if Larry Fitzgerald would have had a Troy Aikman throwing to him, or a Steve Young throwing to him.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He had Kurt Warner at the end of his career, still a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But then he had a revolving door of who?
Yeah.
And yes, Milt, I grew up there, and then moved up to Rochester and been here ever since.
Milt, yeah. Okay. There you go, Milt. He was just answering you.
Yep.
All right. So number 3, sir.
Well, number 3, and then we got hockey.
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking.
All right. I know nothing about this, so I'm going to be quiet.
Unfortunately, no Devils pools, but maybe I can't remember.
Signal's getting fuzzy.
But yeah, the glory.
Oh, Jaromir Jagr.
Jaromir Jagr mullet.
Look at that.
And
oh my Lord.
This was
what do you mean no Devils? He played on the Devils.
Yeah, exactly. He had a cup of coffee in New Jersey, but this was a Stadium Club. Back in the day, they did all sports.
Santa.
And he and that was his rookie year, so that's the rookie card everybody wants. And then just because I sent to him over in the Czech Republic, and he signed a card for me.
Now, you already know that I'm not a big Penguins fan at all. Them and the Rangers are my 2 most hated teams. Right. I always liked Jagr. He was always a good talent. Just like I've never been a Boston fan, but one of my favorite players ever was on the Bruins, and and that was Cam Neely. If Cam Neely was playing that night, he was going to score a goal. That guy was magic with his hands. Yeah. And even though as much as I hate the Rangers, Michael Richter is one of the best goalies that ever played the game, and a great ambassador for hockey.
Yeah, and I think maybe still the most wins by an American-born goaltender.
But he was just an awesome person.
Oh, he was, and that's what I've heard everything about. I never had the chance to come across him, but from everything I've heard, Cam was
and from that same era too. Who I really liked on the Islanders was Chicken Parm, Ray Ferraro.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and that's the thing. Like even on the teams you hated, there was always that 1 or 2 guys like I like him.
Yeah, Pat LaFontaine.
You want to put an all-star team together with your players. That's what you want. Then you say, okay, boys, you're the all-star team.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that Jagr card is great.
Yeah, and it's the majesty of the mullet,
right?
And that's what the trading card industry is missing. Is Stadium Club doing the great photography, because they always did that.
Yeah.
And now they're only around in baseball. But they did.
Was that second card? Was that a signed Jagr?
Yeah, I sent him through the team that he owns over in the Czech Republic.
Wow.
he sent me back, and I don't have any foreign postage for there, so I just sent him a couple dollars. I sent him $2 to, like, at least, hey, for the return stamp. He sent me back the card, a signed picture, and not only my $2, but a third dollar that apparently he had and didn't want anymore.
What
I
a
don't
guy.
need this American money. It's
Yarmer
trash.
Yager gave me $1.
I hope you still have that dollar.
Oh, absolutely. That would be in a binder. That dollar that Yager sent me, 100% I still have.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And Yager was a guy that he played like old school hockey, right? He took his whooping, he went out there, he played rough. He as skilled as he was out there fighting and digging in the dirt too.
It was fun, and he's still playing.
Right, Random? Too bad he didn't sign the dollar. That would have been great.
That would have been funny. I did have a celebrity sign a dollar bill for me, though, actually.
But I always respected Yager because he wasn't a prima donna player. He touched Lemieux, he cried. I'm a superstar. Don't touch me.
But Yager cared not.
No,
and
Yager just played.
Even to this day, he's still playing 20, 30 games a year for that team.
Even when he went to the Devils and he wasn't in his highlight years anymore, he still was just solid every shift.
That's the thing. Even if he wasn't prime Jaromir Jagr, he was still Jaromir Jagr, and you had to respect that. And if you didn't,
the puck was in the net.
Yeah, you were going to pay for it. Right? You were going to pay for it really quickly.
You couldn't put his physical game down either because he could put you on the ice when he wanted to too.
No, we saw him throw hands a few times.
Oh yeah, Yager was just a great all-around player.
Oh, and an interesting human being. Actually, Milt would probably remember this when he first came to America in 1990 for hockey. They would put him on the local radio show, and he would read like the news reports to help him learn English.
Oh, nice.
If you listen to the radio in Pittsburgh in the 90s, more than likely you were going to hear Jaromir Jagr on there reading the news reports so he could practice his English.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, so great one.
Film at 11.
The fantastic mullet. Now this one, another signed one, mainly because of who it is. Her name is Manon Rhéaume.
Oh, I know Manon Rhéaume.
I know you probably know exactly who this is. Not only the first woman to play in an NHL game, but the first woman to play in a professional game in North America, in North American sports. And
really?
Back in 92, 93, she signed with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, she went in for a game.
Yeah, and she signed, actually, I think she ended up playing, I think, 20 or so games for them over 5 years, mainly in like the minor leagues, but still, she played in an NHL official game.
Wow. And Manon Rhéaume was not a bad looker.
No, and actually, she is a very good signer, but the weird thing is, you can see there she signed her whole name and her number, but she's gotten so many requests lately, most of her autographs have been coming back basically with her initials.
So you got a good unique one.
I think I got her early, and then all of a sudden a lot of stuff started going in. And, and I don't think he signs anymore, but then you got a guy like Connor McDavid signed a card for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's big time now, so we always
he is, but so is this guy, this Wayne Gretzky fellow who took the time to sign a little piece of cardboard for me.
The best ever. No one will ever convince me there'll be a better hockey player than Gretzky.
I mean, you're gonna
he's
have
a great one for a reason.
Yeah, you're gonna.
No one's on the ice like him. He can make a rink-long pass without even looking. It'd be right on the tape of the other player.
Yeah, he was scary good. And but I wish. Well, I can't remember what tournament it was when it was him and Lemieux on the same line together. And then you had like Larry Murphy was in the like that was a disturbingly good team. Like I could have been the third guy on that line and scored 15 goals that tournament.
Right.
Like in
just
all honesty,
throwing it and letting it bounce off you into the net. Yeah.
Right. It's like if I just stand in somebody's way, I might be able to kick one in because all five of them are going to be focused on those two.
Right.
he would even score like the empty net goal when he in his waning years in LA when he curved the puck around the line and went it and got it into the net. Just amazing.
It's like you look at him, and had you not seen it in person or on film, you never would have believed it. Like if somebody would have told, yeah, exactly. He was pretty good at the hockey, I heard.
And again, he did not a crier. He just went in and played his games.
I saw him. He came to Pittsburgh near the end of his career. Can't remember who he was playing for. Maybe, I don't even remember, but Darius Kasparaitis put him into the boards, trying to basically make him a part of the boards.
Right.
And all Gretzky did was get up and smile at him, like give him a little thank you for that. I think it may have been his last season that he played. But man, was he that era was so fun to watch in hockey because there was Hall of Famers every night on every team.
Yeah. Just I don't know, just so good. And I mean, still, you can watch Gretzky highlight reels, and you won't see anything like that today.
No,
still.
Even compared to and there's a lot of great hockey players today.
Oh yeah,
but he was on a different level even today by today's standards.
Now, who's your all-time favorite hockey player, Zach?
I honestly think it's Jágr, just because the longevity. And I've caught flack by saying I firmly believe he's this generation's Mr. Hockey. And that's not taking anything.
I wouldn't argue with that.
But people are like, well, that was, Gordie Howe's title. I was like, yeah, but I'm saying this generation, I didn't grow up with him.
Gordie Howe's a whole nother generation.
Yeah, he was the Mr. Hockey of his era, and rightfully so. But I think the fact that Jágr, mind you, is playing hockey at the professional level since 1986.
Wow.
And he just announced that the 24-25 season is most likely going to be his last one.
Right.
But the man is still playing hockey and playing hockey at an extremely high level. Just for longevity, I got to give it to Jágr.
Mm.
I wouldn't. I don't think that's a bad pick at all. Jágr's amazing.
And I know everybody would expect me to say Lemieux, but and Lemieux was great, but just something about Jágr and plus, it was part of that first wave when the Soviets and the Iron Curtain they were coming over. So all the Russians and the Czechoslovakians were coming over finally, and the mullet.
I'm not a Lemieux fan, so you won't get me there. I don't. People can say as
how good even taking somebody like a Ron Francis then, because Ron Francis, great player, spent some time with the Penguins during the Stanley Cups, but just Jágr was something special. And if you count international play, and this is where a lot of people forget, he is I think the all-time most points in hockey history, if you include international play.
Right.
Because Gretzky didn't play on a lot of international teams.
Right.
He didn't play for the Canadian national team much. Jágr, every Olympics and every tournament that Czechoslovakia had going back to Czechoslovakia.
See, David's trying to get himself banned from the channel. Look at him. Look at this guy right here, just poking at me.
And apparently there is a massive storm in Kansas.
Yeah,
Game is delayed.
My main issue with Lemieux is he cried all the time. I didn't like his "I'm a superstar" mindset. They shouldn't be able to check me like they check other people. All that stuff, I hated it. I hate crying. The way to make me lose respect for you as a professional player in any sport is to whine.
Yeah. I agree with that. There's a guy that's playing right now on a soccer team that does the same thing. I'm like, he whines every time he misses.
Wait,
all this guy broke me.
I believe you mean the league.
And I'm just like, they just whine.
A stiff breeze and they're going down.
Yeah, right? Well, and that's all gamemanship now, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. I want him to bring back old school.
Right. Number 4, Zach.
Well, and I went basketball early because growing up in Pittsburgh, we still don't have a basketball team. So I didn't grow up watching it. So I don't really collect basketball, but there are some players that I respect the crap out of to send to, and they would sign back. So shout out Canada, Vince Carter.
Vince Carter, yeah.
He is a great signer. He takes a while, and they keep you on file. You only get one.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody gets one Vince Carter. And so, you know what? Fine with me. I'm cool with that. And then another time, a third attempt just because Earl the Pearl Monroe.
Oh, wow. Earl the Pearl.
I don't, you know, and I caught him early in his career. I don't know what he does now, but that Steph Curry fellow.
Wow.
Decided to take a moment to send back to me.
Get his dad's card and have his dad sign his too, because he's the one that made that guy.
I have his dad's. I have Dell, and I've sent to Seth, but I haven't gotten Seth back yet. So I was going for the trifecta.
Yeah, I mean,
but I got two of the three, and I got Steph, so I'll take that one.
Yeah, I thought he was going to pull out like a John Stockton or a Magic Johnson or a Wilt or something.
Yeah. Or a Karl Malone, or
Karl Malone. I have a Wilt Chamberlain signed book that I picked up cheap just because it was a Wilt, and a Bill Russell book because that guy, rest in peace, signed nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that.
And weirdly, the only one of like the '86 Celtics, the championship Celtics, that signs is Robert Parrish.
Well, that's because
Bird, you wouldn't expect to.
He's partier 90% of the time. That's why he played for the NBA forever, because he was like petrified from all that weed he smoked. I'm telling you, man, when you look at Robert Parrish, you can just look. He'd be on the court like
100%. Anytime he does an interview, it's like he's happy as anything.
Yeah, because he smoked all that weed before the interview. I'm telling you.
Number 5, Zach.
Number 5. Then I went to a couple of the mixed ones. You know, because there's trading cards for everything, as I've found out.
Right.
So in the golf realm, it took like 2.5 years, but Tiger Woods.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Signed a card. NASCAR are usually great signers. Weirdly, I got one back recently that was unsigned, but even the retired guys like Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
I had a guy I worked with that absolutely just loved him. Thought he was the greatest in the world. And then you'd hear other guys, say their driver. I mean, I grew up in Richmond, and I never saw one single NASCAR thing. People were like, "How can you not go to NASCAR? You grew up in Richmond." And I was like, "I don't know." Nobody ever gave me tickets, and I wasn't spending the money to watch a bunch of cars go around. Just wasn't my thing.
I never liked racing. So, but when I worked at this bar once, we won something, and 3 of us got to go to, and I can't even remember where it was anymore. We got to go to a NASCAR race. Never left the beer tent.
Was it the one down at Watkins Glen?
Yes.
I was going to say, because that's still on the NASCAR schedule is like the 250 at the Glen or whatever.
We got there. Yeah, I mean the cars were loud, but we never left the beer tent. We never made it out of it.
And Kevin, that is absolutely true. Richard Petty still does sign, but he has 1 per.
Yeah.
Man, hey, don't tell it. And it's weird. It's like you would expect some people to sign for money, but like, nope. Tiger Woods, Earl Monroe, nah. You get guys like Tim Tebow, it's like $125. Like, nah.
Hard pass.
What have you done, kid?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right? Because I tried him when he was playing AA ball at Binghamton.
Yeah.
And I get this thing back for like, directing me to his website and all the prices, and I'm like, you know what, screw you, kid.
Yeah. Well,
He was a flash. He didn't.
Yeah.
He did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Tebow.
How arrogant to expect $125 for his signature when you have greats giving them to you for nothing.
Right, like even some of the greats that I've gotten in the past, like I got Phil Necro to sign an 8x10. He charged $20.
Yeah,
okay, nothing. Like that's fine. That's Phil Necro. I don't care.
Right.
Gaylord Perry was like $15. I don't care. It's Gaylord Perry.
Right.
So that was a topic of conversation that came up not too long ago, not in the sports realm, but on the movie side, because I think it was somebody. What did Mark Hamill wanted like $700 or something, and I was like, "Bro, are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
I mean, 700.
But there are a good amount of celebrities that will sign for free. I'll tell you that much.
The ones that want to keep their career going.
Yeah, or just the ones like John Travolta of all people.
Yeah, but he's uber humble, man. I mean,
He is fantastic.
But it's just crazy how some of these people don't have any respect for the fans. Like you said, Mark Hamill charges $700. That's just saying screw you to your fans. That's just taking advantage of people that have a fandom.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never understand that. You make millions of dollars in a movie, and now you can't, take. Yeah, you can't.
You can't go like this and just.
Yeah, I mean.
I know it's especially like some of the amount of money, and it's like, but why? Like, why you in particular charging that much money?
Right. You just go, hey, thanks for buying tickets. Thanks for all the support.
Yeah, and I have my same argument all the time with people about the same with comic creators. All right. I'll gladly pay Roy Thomas $20, $40, $50. Roy Thomas is a legend. Okay. And I like Scotty Young, but I'm not going to pay $20 for a Scotty Young. Now, when I got them, they were like $5 a piece. And even then I was like, really, this should be free because you're still working. You're still making covers. I'll pay Al Milgram, who doesn't do book covers, They're not in the game anymore.
Right.
Like I met at one of the shows up here in Rochester a couple years ago, I met Larry Hama. And I bought a book and he signed it, and then he signed one that I brought him for free. It's like, okay, cool. Thank you.
But you would have paid, though, if he'd asked for $10.
100% I would have paid another $10.
Because he's a legend. And he's,
exactly. 100% I would have.
Yeah, you just can't. Some of these new guys today, they're like, oh, I want $20. I'm like, for what? What for? Like, I don't get it.
And the current athletes, because there's a lot of money going around in the trading card industry.
Yeah.
So now current athletes just aren't signing anymore because they're not getting any money. It's like,
right.
Okay.
Wow.
At least not through the mail. But then
number 6, Zach.
Number 6. Now here's where, actually, speaking of, do we remember the old school X-Men animated show in '92? You know, that show that won that saved X-Men from the
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was a series, and they're going to come into play a little later. They did a Skybox series, and this is signed by Rogue herself, Lenora Zahn.
Wow.
Because I got her when she was a member of Canadian Parliament.
Nice.
So, by the way, yes, Rogue, everybody's favorite Southern belle, was in Canadian Parliament.
Right.
And actually would break out the accent upon request to people. Like, I've seen videos of her, and she would just just right in the middle of it. And then other like TV stuff, just because this is the stuff I'm pulling out of like the jank packs. It is a slabbed Alan Thicke as Jason Seaver from Growing Pains, because I pulled that out of the thing of cards.
Oh my God. And it's slabbed?
Yeah, it was this company that I went with them because they did custom labels. Unfortunately, they're no longer.
I used to watch that show all the time.
Oh yeah. No, but it was just, that's funny. He has a card like that.
And then I did the same thing. It's a slabbed Back to the Future 2 sticker card.
Nice.
Just because, and then the next ones coming up are slabbed.
Well, who signed that one?
Nobody signed it. I just got it slabbed. I've tried Christopher Lloyd. Never came back, unfortunately, but I did try. I sent him an Uncle Fester card from the Addams Family. I couldn't get my hands on a Taxi card, unfortunately. Yeah, Alan Thicke, Canadian legend, rest in peace. Absolute Canadian institution.
Right, he was like our David Hasselhoff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He's like David Hasselhoff equivalent without the big German audience.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. We don't know.
Right?
We don't know. We don't know who was,
maybe he's been huge in Luxembourg for all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know what the Canadians
Those are cool,
David.
Though. Especially, I do like the Rogue sign card, though. That's cool.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Because she was in office, so I found the address to her constituency, basically. I think she was in, where was it? I think it was one of the Maritimes. I think she was Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, tried it, and boom, came back like, all right.
That was probably a welcome break in her day at that time.
And that's
Yep.
what it is. You probably think like, it's some random person from New York who's sending me a card. Like, absolutely.
Yep. Let me sign that and get that down there to him.
Yeah, she didn't have to think about her office duties for a minute. She got to sign a card.
Right. And, you know,
remember
and, I
having
always,
some fun.
and that's the thing. Whenever I write to him, I always write him a little letter.
Yeah.
Like a short little thing, just telling them why, you know, this and that. And the one thing when I tell people, just never make anything up just to seem like, you know, you're a fan. You know, if I send to somebody and I'm like, I really didn't hear about you, but I started researching your career and I found this that's really interesting. You know, something random like that.
Oh yeah, a little punch in their ego never hurts.
No. And honest, and most of the time it's the truth. It's like, you know, I really liked you in, you know, whatever movie, or I really like this comic that you drew.
Right.
And I do mean it. And a lot of the comic artists, you know, just like, yeah, sure.
Right. And I think they even like it more when it's something completely random that most people don't think about anymore. And they're like, oh my gosh, you brought this of all things?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had that with Joe Jusko. I brought him, he did one cover from, what was the series? I think it was Like a Pilgrim or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I brought him one of the covers that I had, and I said, would you sign this? And he looked at it, and he's like, I don't think I've ever signed this book before. He's like, I barely even see this book.
Right. That's awesome.
Like, okay. You know, I actually got it out of like a $5 mix pack from Ollie's. I didn't tell him that, but
yeah.
Right? But
like,
still, I
They
mean,
probably love that, though.
Brings
Yeah,
back
'cause
some memories.
and then I saw him later. He's like, still can't believe I signed that book. That is so weird.
Yeah, but
He's a fun
remember
guy.
you made his day.
Just to meet him. He's a quality human being. But now I got to go. I got to show my love to the comics because, you know, I did.
So we're going to number 7. All right.
Yeah.
I love that shirt, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
the Crimson.
awesome.
It's the Crimson Gym of Sidorak.
Yep. That's
Creating Human
badass.
Juggernaut since 1965. That's a Grail book right there. Is his first appearance one day. But I slabbed them up just because I really wanted them. They're not in the greatest of condition, but I don't care. First, the 92 Skybox Mojo,
Oof.
just because they did a real nice job on the custom label.
So that company's
custom
not
label
around
is-
anymore. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
unfortunately not. But other companies are starting to pick up and do custom labels like that because it is popular. Comics do it. I know some.
Yeah,
Some of the comic grading things I do it. And then from the same series, my man, the Juggernaut. And then this one I got as a throw-in for a random gift. It's a 2020 Marvel anime
Oh, that's nice.
of the Juggernaut, but for comic people, and I'm a fan of hers, it's the Peach Momoko version.
See, that's not terrible.
No, and
No,
I
that's
like
good.
it because normally her artwork is very polarizing, but I think she did a really nice job with him.
Yeah, I think she did all right there. Yeah.
And I've always been a big fan of the villains. You know, it's like the good guys, like I always, how do you, and I'm going to ruffle every feather I can think of in the next 5 seconds. How can you feel fear that Superman's going to get defeated? Like,
Because a little green rock can knock him on his
right
ass.
from the exploded planet, yet everybody and their mother seems to have a little hunk of this green rock lying
Right.
around.
Well,
It just happened to go to Earth, dude. I mean,
I'm
what do you want?
not gonna. I always thought that was like a weird thing to make them weak, right? Because
Right.
you lived on that planet. Why would the planet you come from
Right,
make you
exactly.
weak?
Like that makes no sense, but like that's where he lived. Why is he alive
Right.
then?
He's
Well,
stood
I
on
like
the-
it. I personally like it, not so much the kryptonite, the green kryptonite, but I love it when another color kryptonite comes into play.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know, like he's exposed to red kryptonite, and look, he's all pissed and he's ready to kill people. I want to see a story about that. You
Yeah,
know?
like let's get some like I don't know, like anything with a prism in it, and he gets all happy, sits down, listens to some Grateful Dead, and just
yeah,
vibes with it for a little bit. That's the Superman we all want to see.
But no, I understand. I agree with what you're saying.
But that's it. And it was the same for like pro wrestling. It's like you you gotta realize that they can be beaten for you to get behind them.
Yeah.
And I just had a little trouble with Superman because who could do anything to him? But
Yeah.
why? All right, comic people, why? Why, when they shot him and every single bullet bounced off his chest, did they then throw the empty gun?
Like that was gonna do anything,
Why?
right?
What's he gonna do? Trip on it?
Yeah.
Like it was like pumps 8 shots, they just pwing off, and then
That'll do it.
okay, yeah. Just one time, I wanted to see it like it hit him in the eye, and he just like and he goes down because it hit him in the eye or something.
Yeah. Well, you're talking Superman. There are other heroes that are.
He is what he is. He is Americana, and forever shall be. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Thank God there's a lot of choices.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In the comic realm, just like in the card realm. Because now, did any of you guys ever get into like trading card games?
I never played any trading card games,
Yeah.
but I know you're a big Magic guy.
Oh yeah, definitely, and another couple of slabbed ones just because they're awesome. He's a Yu-Gi-Oh because he's adorable.
Oh yeah.
Quillbolt Hedgehog because why not? In Magic, I always go for pun names. This was Wilson the Refined Grizzly.
Yeah.
And Wilson the Refined Grizzly is a gentleman and a scholar. This one only because, according to this grading company, it got a flawless 10, is a Dragon Ball card.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Toby Fane greeting. I don't know anything about him, but I was like, it's shiny. I'm going to send it out, see what it looks like. And it came back a flawless 10.
All sorts of foil madness on that.
And then just because this one was given to me by a very wonderful human in the community, Julie Farnham, a signed Magic card from the revised series in '94, so one of the early sets, and she met the artist Mark Poole and got him to sign a bunch of things, and she sent me this one.
How cool. Now, all of us have something from Julie because she's just that person.
She is
just that person. She
one
is
of the
a
most
community
amazing human beings you're ever going to run across, in all honesty.
And a good hockey lover.
Oh, loves her Wild.
Yep.
Loves her Wild. Loves her Vikings.
And her cats.
And let's go North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
That she is a North Dakota State fan.
Julie is just the community angel. She's one of the just the best people in the community, bar none.
Absolutely, and knowledgeable about so much.
Much
stuff, especially hockey related. Woo! If you ever need to know hockey, listen to her for a little bit.
And she's also a big Conan fan too. She knows her Conan.
She does in the fantasy art cards. She's the one. She sent me an Edgar Rice Burroughs set.
Ooh,
wow!
It was just phenomenal. Magic, yeah. And that's the thing. Magic does a lot of they have a Marvel crossover coming up next year. Magic the Gathering does.
Now, do you read the comics, the Magic the Gathering comics that have been out the last couple of years?
No, I've always kind of wondered if they were good, but I've never seen anybody kind of talking about them.
Maybe.
So
I think I saw one for the first time like a year ago.
I think it's like the Star Trek books, all right. Like it has its niche crowd that buys all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
But you just don't see a lot of talk about them.
That's what it is. Like
I'm
sure
they must be doing something right because they keep going.
Exactly. The fact that the series is ongoing means somebody's buying them. I just have no idea who because I've never seen anybody talking about it.
Right.
Like I think this last run that was just out was just it had 3 different series going at the same time. Had a couple mini series, and I think the regular series went for like 30 something issues.
My God! So it's doing gangbusters if it's still pumping out like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean they had multiple covers. They had all sorts of special stuff.
And that's the thing. Cards do the exact same thing with the cover variants. There's always the different variants. Like, oh, this is blue and numbered to this number, and this is green
this is
and
prismatic. This is the
back in the day.
Boss foil. This is and you guys have the jersey ones too, which are cool.
Yeah, and every now and actually other sports do it too. I know NASCAR did it. I think I got it was either a fire suit, a piece of a fire suit, or maybe even a piece of a tire.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Like there was a boxing one. It was a piece of somebody's boxing robe. Like they'll make relics out of anything.
Yeah. Just cut
Actually,
it up.
and speaking of which, there's a couple of them coming up in the next part.
All right, number 9 then.
Because I went the miscellaneous. I love history. I do a lot of the history openings. This one, it's an orange Prism Genghis Khan that I got in a trade from a guy, Tripolic X Cards and Stuff, because he was collecting the American flag backgrounds cards, and I pulled a couple he needed. So this was one of the trades. But in the realm of relics, these are 2 that I got. It is a uniform relic from Pearl Harbor.
Oh wow.
And on the back, it actually they're going to change it next year and give a QR code as to what it is.
Right.
But now they at least give you a picture of what it was. So
That's
that was
nice.
a uniform jacket, and also got another one from the Normandy landings on D-Day in a different. Actually, I think it was in the same box. And then a quad numbered out of 50 of like the American business titans.
Oh yeah.
It was who was it? It was Rockefeller, Andrew
Mellon?
Carnegie, Cornelius
Carnegie?
Vanderbilt, and Thomas Edison.
Okay. Yeah, Carnegie. Yeah, I knew Carnegie had to be in there.
Yeah, and it's 4 different documents.
That is crazy.
And this set, it's Pieces of the Past. They do basically all history stuff like that.
That's neat.
And you pull handwriting relics from like I pulled a Stradivari. The guy that invented the Stradivarius, something that he had written.
So they find historic documents and they bastardize them and cut them up and put them on cards.
And I always wondered that. It's like, are they like destined?
They
Are they
destroy
like
it.
on the verge of, basically disintegrating, and they're trying to do whatever they can with it? Are they just so common? It's like, oh, this is like, if it's like a military thing, it's like, oh, here's an order telling the guy to go clean the latrine.
Right. We have 3,000 more sheets from this guy. We're good.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Like
I
they
mean, and it
probably
could
have-
very well be that this is just one piece. It's like, getting an artist sketchbook page.
yeah.
It was never gonna be published, but it was a piece of his sketchbook. People love that stuff because it's one.
Right,
of
like in this,
one.
and it could just be like, they were, I think, $80 or $90 for a box, and you got like 6 or 8 packs in the box, and there was a lot of good stuff in them.
He says the documents they signed are very common.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I figured. Otherwise, they wouldn't be chopping them up.
Yeah.
Right. But even
you're
if
not
it's
talking the Declaration of Independence. or
yeah, and
anything,
even if it's a common document, I
Yeah.
don't care. The fact that it came from whomever.
Right.
right.
Yes.
It's a period piece.
Yes, you can have running water in your area.
Yeah, it's exactly. And then, because Garbage Pail Kids, and this one I took off of your stack, it was old Gary Gas Pump. So I've had him sitting on the stack I have for you. So he goes back over there. And if anybody's ever heard of MetaZoo, I never heard of it, but it was a cryptid edition. And I pulled this one because I didn't give it its proper shout out. Babe the Blue Ox, shout out to America's Kaiju.
America's Kaiju.
This is, and one of my friends said that it's America's Kaiju. I'm like, oh my God, she's absolutely right. It's a
Right.
gigantic anthropomorphic ox.
Babe the Blue Ox is
Right.
huge. Right.
It is America's Kaiju. And I
Yeah,
love it.
exactly. It's still historical regardless of how common.
Right.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like it matters not, even if it's, something, hello, don't care. They wrote it.
Now all this is still number 9, right? This whole section?
Yeah, that wraps up 9, because I just had the history stuff I had to share it because they're so cool.
Dude, the randoms, all that oddball stuff is fantastic. It's so
Yeah.
fun to look at, and just cards are like comics, right? There's so many things that you don't know they exist, and then you run across, you're like, really, they made that?
Right.
Who
And
knew?
That's the glory of like all the Thursday stuff, because like it's like I never knew they made. They never knew they made any of this stuff.
I've said that too about a bunch of your jank packs. When I watch it, I'm like, who made cards of this?
Right. Like why did they think to make, a 200 card series of RoboCop 2. Yet they
It's
did.
awesome.
Well,
RoboCop is awesome.
lie. You know, or Jaws 3D. Like, I've opened a couple packs of Jaws 3D with the 3D glasses and everything. That's probably the most valuable
like
thing.
or the Crow, City of Angels, the second Crow. Like, why?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's not awesome. You can have that.
or the Backstreet Boys
But
4x6 photo
that's
card.
what makes it a jank pack, Jim.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like, what in the world is it? I don't know, but it's probably going to be entertaining, or else I'll make it entertaining.
Yeah, I would just be like, oh my God, I can't believe they made it. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, and what did they make Alf cards?
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
Because I
I'm
think I
looking-
remember you opened Alf once, didn't you?
I've wanted to get hold of some Alf. I never have,
Okay.
and I want to. Like Alf. There's a couple other. I want to get the original RoboCop series. They did Indiana Jones cards for all the movies. I've done a couple of them.
Right.
No,
There's random. Yes, he had some Alf cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen Alf, and it's like, God, Alf, good old Gordon Shumway.
Right. I love Alf. I'm always gonna love Alf.
I think everybody should love Alf.
And it became even more special to me because my kid loved it. So I bought all 4 seasons, and my kid and I would watch it together.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
So I mean, he was cross generational that way for us, you know.
yeah.
Just hide your cat.
Right. All right, number 10, Zach.
I went vintage, so I pulled the oldest stuff I had.
Ooh.
The oldest football I have is a 1956 Topps Art Donovan, and I actually met Art Donovan in Baltimore at the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And actually, Milt, yes, they did Howard the Duck. I have opened a couple packs of it. The gum was terrible, but Leah Thompson looks amazing.
Yeah, Leah Thompson was it back in the day.
Yeah.
Her,
I mean, that was the movie. Like, I'm confused, but I'm all right with it.
Kathy Ireland.
Oof, Kathy Ireland. Oy.
Yeah, Necessary Roughness.
Heart flutter. Oh my God. Necessary roughness. I know, right? Oh.
That's what we're talking about.
Oof.
Then this one actually was a gift from Joe Mansman, a 1949, the oldest baseball card I have, Bowman, of Ralph Kiner. He said, I just had it laying around and I'm not a Pirates fan. I guess it's a 1949 Bowman. Like, I've never even seen one of these in person before.
And Milt says that Art was a great color commentator.
Oh, he was constantly drinking. I read his book. I actually got him to sign a copy of his book for me. Rest in peace, Art Donovan, one of the true characters in the universe. In the final, this was a giveaway win. Are you familiar with the old tobacco cards?
Oh yeah, the little thin cards.
Yeah, stuff like this. And these are all, it's a complete set. I actually wrote it down. 1938, Players Tobacco, 3rd series of the Film Stars. I got this in a giveaway win from Sensei Domino, Tony. It was a great collection. And I just pulled a couple. You got
Errol
like Errol Flynn. You know, who's it? Olivia de Havilland.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Betty Davis.
Betty Davis, yeah.
Was it Joan Crawford?
Joan Crawford.
And how about Gary Cooper? And
That's
like the
right.
fact that
And those are in great
these-
shape too.
that's the thing. They're in amazing shape. They're from 1938, and they came literally, for anybody that doesn't know why they're called tobacco cards, they came in packs of cigarettes.
Now,
Yeah.
what's on the back of those cards?
Oh, yeah,
do
I
they have
can
anything
show
on
the
the back?
Yeah, here's the back. It's like a little write-up about them. You know,
That's so cool.
and like
That
the
is
fact
neat.
that, and again, this is a thin piece of printed cardboard.
I wonder if they did a Fay Ray one or a Jane.
Oh yeah,
Fonda.
she's in a lot of these older sets. I think
I
she
mean, a
might
Fay
have-
Ray one would be amazing. Jane Fonda would be good too, like a good Barbarella card.
I think Fay Ray might be in this set, actually. I'll have to take a look later. I'll let you know. But yeah, and he just gave away the entire set of 50 of these.
Wow, that's a giveaway. Holy
Oh,
Yeah,
shit!
it is.
my God. And he has so many of these. His collection is just absolutely incredible. But I had to go at least some vintage because, you know, That's the oldest stuff I have, 1938, at least for cards.
But that's pretty damn old. That's good.
I've got some pennies that are like that.
Yeah, exactly. He tells a lot of like starter sets. If you want to get into like the tobacco cards, there's a lot of really nice looking affordable sets. Like you could pick up a set like $50-$60 for some of these.
Don't you miss the days though? We used to get mini comics and like ho-hos and stuff, boxes like that, and you had those. Don't you miss the things when they included little novelty things like that in products that we bought daily?
Yeah, and like the cards did that all the time. Like on the back of like the craft box, cut out the
Yeah, they had a bread store. They had a Wonder Bread store, and they sold the Hostess too. And you'd get a box of Hostess Twinkies, and on the back would be, either it would be like a sports card. And as soon as we were done, my brother and I were like, cut. Don't throw it away, Mom. Don't throw it away.
Exactly. And
I wonder how those are graded though. Like you can't grade a card you cut out. I mean,
no.
No, they have a specific thing for them because people do slab them.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I think they call it. I think it's authenticated. It's like it's an actual thing because most people that were cutting it out weren't really paying attention.
Yeah, I lost all those cards. All those cards disappeared.
But look, I can't see that comment without thinking of one of my favorite episodes of Night Court when Harry swallowed the whistle from the box of cereal.
That's true. I remember that one.
What a great show.
Right.
I know so many of them were good signers. I know Richard Mall was a great signer. Rest in peace.
Oh, and he was Richard Mall's. That whole show was great though. John Lartette's still doing stuff.
And he's a great autograph signer. I just need to get me a card. I wonder if Night Court has cards. Probably.
Oh, there you go. Something to look into.
Be a jank pack.
It's not a 10 if somebody doesn't start going down a rabbit hole, Zach.
No, man. And that's the thing. Like, people are sending me these. Like, it's like, hey, look, I found this. Actually, somebody just reached out to me the other day, Perch. He was like, yeah, I went to my local shop. I found you some jank packs. Pre-warning, some of it has gum. I'm like, oh, man. But it's like, who knows what's going to show up? Like,
right?
I'm going to look for something really avant-garde.
So Zach, when I ordered these, there was 6 of these, right? And these are mini comics. They're amoral bubble gum. And on the back, so there was another flap here, and there was a big stick of gum in it.
Oh.
And it would leave a stain on both sides.
And actually,
like, you wonder why they would pack it that way, right? But this gum, like, you open it up and
powder,
just like cracked. There's like you dropped a piece of flat glass on something and it just shattered.
Wow, and that's terrible.
It's funny, in a lot of the junk wax sets, they actually will distinguish between the plain back and a gum stained back. They acknowledge the gum stained back of certain cards as an actual thing, even for grading.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, how can you grade against it? Like, there's nothing you can do about that. That's part of how it was manufactured.
Right, exactly. They grade it as the gum stained card rather than as like the card that happened to have a gum stain on it.
10 wood stain.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a PSA 9.0 gum stain Cal Ripken right here.
Right.
And you think so many great, but it was the junk wax era, so the cards aren't worth anything.
Yeah.
Because they made so many, and that's why they called it. It was 86.
I know, that's like 90s comics.
Yeah, exactly. It probably went through the same thing. Cards was really like 86 to I think about 93. They just made, and the problem is there were so many great rookies out there. Like the Yager rookie. It's not worth much because they made so many. Emmett Smith rookie cards from 1990 Pro Set Football. Maybe worth 75 cents because there was hundreds of thousands of the things printed.
Right.
So now we're to your personal story card.
And there's actually, and I'll give a shout out. This isn't a particular card, but it is for the set. It's 86 tops.
Oh, okay.
This was the set that got me into wanting to collect cards because I saw so much of it. I loved the design. And this was, I think, one of the first years, if not the first year of the junk wax era. So it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And the last one though, and it's a beat up card, but it was the first card I ever sent out to somebody to get TTM'd, and he signed it for me. And you can't really see it. It's in blue ballpoint, but it's an old Preston Pearson. And he was the first one I ever sent out to and sent back. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have fun with this. So he's responsible. Preston Pearson is the responsible one is the one responsible for getting me into it. But
all this Pittsburgh stuff, you're gonna wake up one day and Milt's gonna be at your house
knocking on your door.
I'm gonna wake up and there's just gonna be like a flag in my yard, like, oh crap, they found me.
You and Milt would have a great day talking to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
let me see. Random says he opened a pack of 86 tops last night. Best card was a pristine Nolan Ryan.
But and just think about this.
PSA 10 is over $1,000. Damn, he paid $8 for the pack.
Just think about this, though. The fact that 1986, that's a long time ago, there's still unopened product from these sets.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 40 years later, you can still find at a premium now, but unopened boxes of these junk wax sets.
But sometimes you can go into an antique store and they have unopened boxes of cards.
Absolutely. Or go on eBay, Etsy, any of these places, and you can get literal, I see them on Shop Goodwill. They measure it in pounds. It's 10 pounds of mixed baseball cards.
Now, what's your dream card, Zach? Being a card collector, what's your Grail card? Your Grail of all Grails, if you could ever get it, unless you already have it.
I do not have it. I would love to. A Roberto Clemente rookie.
Ah.
Because he is a guy I never got to see play because he died 10 years before I was born. But my dad and my grandfather got to see him play, and just watching film of him, how good he was. And it's one of those, that is the Grail card as a Clemente rookie. And I've never seen a price on one, even in low grade, that didn't involve a comma. Even at a PSA 1.5, you're still looking probably $900 to $1,000.
Wow.
Because they just weren't many of them. And
right
back then, they were flimsy cardboard. They were beat to crap and back.
Oh yeah, back then it was just like with any collectible, right? Before there was an industry for collectibles, you didn't take care of the shit. You were a kid, you had it. No. It was in your hand all the time. You're reading it, you're sharing it with your friends. It's handled.
Yeah.
Exactly. All the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys I had back in the 80s. All the Thundercats toys I had back in the 80s. What did we do? Got home, opened box, threw away box, destroyed toys.
Right.
That's what we did. That's why when you see them nowadays, they're so expensive because we broke the rest.
Right.
And that Battlestar Galactica fighter, and that was, when the first one that came out, the red little thing would pop out and actually shoot out. And then some stupid kid swallowed it and choked on it. So the next set they did, it would just push out. It wouldn't shoot out.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill has that card.
Oh,
it's a nice card.
Milt, you got to post a picture of it on your IG.
Yeah, that is one of those.
He's Flowers Comics on Instagram. Follow him.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to do that right now, but let me write that down.
Because Milt is a collector's collector. He's got some of the most incredible stuff you'll ever see.
Oh, yeah.
Milt, you got to post that on IG so Zach and I.
Oh yeah, so I can.
All of us can look at it.
Yeah, it's I can show up back in Pittsburgh just as easily as you can show up in Rochester.
Right.
We still got family there. Yeah, exactly. All the stuff we had back then, we destroyed all the baseball cards that we put in the spokes of our bikes because it was the junk wax era. There were millions of them.
I might have to get Milt. Milt's been on my channel tons of times. He's not only a friend of the channel, he's a friend, but he's never done a card show.
Ooh.
No, you might have to do a card episode.
I mean, if he's talking Clemente rookie, yeah, he better do a card show.
But if he's going to come on and do a card show, I'm sending you a co-host invite, Zach.
Oh, 100%, because I'll start reaching through the screen. Yes, but I can pull out some Pittsburgh things that he would probably be jealous of as well.
Let's just say you two would have a great time talking to each other. Oh, the Evil Knievel jump van.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Don't me started on that. I broke you know, when you did turn the thing like that, and somehow we broke the handle on it. We got it just.
One of my favorite toys as a kid too was like the
Oh, man.
Cylon.
Oh yeah.
Spaceship, and where you could pull the sides out, and then it had the little firing missiles. But you lose the missiles.
Well,
yeah,
that's
You
what
have
I'm
them
saying.
for a week, and they're
minutes.
gone.
We
Within
didn't have
20
the
minutes,
silo.
any projectile is gone is an offering to the universe.
Yeah.
It's like it is what it is.
Yeah, we didn't we didn't keep them very
There's
long.
flex in here. I'll post it with the other 16 Clemente cards.
I found a Clemente little I can't remember what it was, a food issue set, a little 6-card Clemente set. I have it somewhere over in a box. I found it back in my mom's house.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's one of the things, like I wish I could have been able to see him play.
Yeah.
You know? And the fact that my dad and my grandfather sat in the, at Forbes Field and all that and got to watch, it's like,
You know what's weird too is when you got when UFC hit, all of a sudden you had UFC cards. Never had boxing cards. Like I would have loved like a Lennox Lewis card and stuff like that.
Very, very
I
infrequent.
never saw boxing cards.
You know what other weirdly cards didn't come around often? They're starting to come around a lot more lately. Is golf.
Yeah.
Like they made a 1990 pro set, a 1991 pro set, and then there was like nothing for golf for 10 years until 2000.
Dropped the guy's helmet, never saw it again. I used to hate that. You lose a piece of the uniform or one of your toys and you can't find it. Oh, it was it's got to be here somewhere. Probably just got vacuumed up by your mom, and that was it. Gone forever.
What was the giant G.I. Joe one, the USS Flag?
Yeah.
That everybody wants. Like the box goes for a couple $100. I used to have the set of those. I lost them in a flood, so I'm trying to rebuild that set.
Yeah.
The Desert Storm cards.
Are we doing your number 11 now, or
that was it.
That was your 11?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're to your spec pick.
Yeah, and it's weird that you mentioned UFC because these are factory autographs like the ones you get out of the hits of, I think, up-and-coming athletes. But UFC, this one, it's a numbered out of 10 William Gomez rookie auto. And it's like I think he's a featherweight. He's climbing up in the featherweight division. Could be featherweight champ in a couple.
I was looking for my favorite UFC fighter, and I couldn't find any cards of her at all.
Who's that?
Stamp Fairfax. She's great.
I don't think I've ever seen one of hers.
Dude, she won all 3 titles. She won the Muay Thai, the kickboxing, and the one championship. She's got 3 titles right now.
Maybe she's in some of the most recent sets.
But I've never seen a stamp card. And
I can't. And I've seen a lot of UFC stuff get opened, and I can't recall it either.
She's new like the last 5 years though.
Yeah. Well, maybe she'll be in an up and coming set because this set was a last year's set, 2023, I think.
I mean, that's one of the great things about having Amazon Prime too is they do all the one championship for free on there. You get to watch it live.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
I actually didn't know that.
If you have Amazon Prime, whenever it'll be on a Friday night, it's on for 6 hours of fights.
Really?
Nice.
I've got Prime. I've never seen that. I'll have to check it out.
I know. I've had Prime for years. I've never actually seen it.
I watched Stamp win live. I was like, yes. I even posted on it on IG after.
Ooh, UFC versus wrestling. Depends.
I would take a Macho Man card though.
Well, that's the thing. Vintage. There aren't a whole lot of old UFC or MMA cards.
Right.
But old school WWF cards, Macho Man, Hogan, the Andre the Giant.
They got to be worth something.
They can command a pretty penny if they're in good shape. Like the old, I think they did sets in the late 80s and 91 especially. It was like Hulk Hogan rookie card. That can go for some serious money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because in not a lot of those wrestlers live to a ripe old age. I mean, right now
That's
you
the
got
unfortunate part.
Right, because they just destroy their bodies. But right now you got Hulk Hogan who's still kicking, Jesse the Body Ventura,
Jesse Ventura, great autograph signer, by the way. Yeah, like there was WWF stuff all over the place, and that's the thing. Like a lot of these guys are just, sadly, just aren't around very long.
I'm sorry. What was your when we talked over it because we got all excited? What was your spec pick again?
It was the
the
fighter.
William Gomez.
Yes, the UFC guy. William
Gomez.
Yeah.
Gomez.
Yeah, out of 10. Now this girl, I actually since sent to her, and she signs for free. But a soccer player, her name is Olivia Moultrie. She was the youngest American woman to ever go pro in soccer. Turned pro at the age of 13, I think. She's 18 years old now, been in the league for 2 years. She started when she was 16 years old.
Wow. That talented, huh?
Yeah, and she plays for Portland in the National Women's Soccer League. And I've seen this card going ungraded for a good amount of money, but then I sent her a card. Not only did she sign for free, she wrote me a thank you note.
Oh, how nice.
She's an 18-year-old kid now. It's like, you know what? It's good that the younger generation is doing that. And the final one, we're going to see. I have my thoughts on this guy. We're going to see come Sunday what this kid can do, because I got out of a box of football cards a numbered out of 10 Caleb Williams autograph. What will he do is the question.
Right? Is that going to retire from that card?
That's the thing. It's like, I'm going to give him 2 games, and then this might be on eBay. I really, but it's like,
ooh, look at this. He's got a Bruno Sammartino autograph card.
I tried so hard to get a Bruno signature, and unfortunately was never able to. Rest in peace, one of Pittsburgh's favorite adopted sons.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
I just want to tour Milt's house one time and just look at all his collection. Like it's every time Milt shows something, it's just amazing. Milt's a collector's collector. He's got incredible stuff.
Yeah, exactly. When you get on the 10-1-1 there, Milt, you can show that Bruno, because I want to see that. You know? Yeah,
Milt, you got to pull cards now, dude. You got to do a card 10-1-1. You haven't done one yet.
I would, I would say I would bust out my autographed Lemieux jersey, but Gary would probably somehow, from a distance, light it ablaze.
Right?
Plus, it's in a secured location in Pittsburgh randomly.
Yeah, don't tell me that location.
No, all the signed jerseys and everything that my mom's given me are back in Pittsburgh. And there's some good ones.
That's crazy.
I got a Brodeur jersey. I'd love to get him to sign it.
I think he's hard. Like he has to. Like I know he charges, and I think it's a pretty decent amount. And it's like, hey, I try. And that's what and that's the glory of it. Just like comics, there's so much choice for every walk of life. So the cards too.
Yeah.
And just the oddities alone make collecting for me. All these weird things that you never knew existed until you happen to run across it, or you see somebody else with it. You're like, wait, that exists?
Well, exactly. Like the Marvel, the What If series, what they did with the crossover with Disney.
Mm.
You know, I got I think it was from Trev. I won. I think he threw in a copy of the Goofy Hulk one.
Yeah.
And I gave it to my niece. She's a huge Disney fan. She loved it.
Nice.
And it's like, and then I started seeing all the other ones. Like, this is ridiculously cool. Like, I didn't know that, they did the Marvel Disney cross. It makes sense.
They're doing it right now. Yeah. I think What If right now they have out What If Donald Duck was Wolverine.
I saw that. I saw a couple people with that cover. It's like, God, those are so cool. Like, I need to actually swing down the shop and see if they actually have any.
I think Scotty Vaughn's getting every single one of them.
Dude, if you're ever swinging down to the shop on a Saturday, you need to let me know. So
I was going to say, what day do you actually go down there?
Well, I'm there every Monday, but that might change depending on what happens with work now.
Right.
But Saturdays are like I have, my kid likes to get a couple hours to himself, so I can always swing down on a Saturday and meet up with you.
Yeah, because like 'cause I remember it was in one of Brian's streams a long time ago. He's like, oh yeah, if you're in Rochester, you might know Gary. He goes down to Rhino a lot. I'm like, I know that shop. Like I've been there a few times actually. It's like, and then all this time we've been so close, and yet God knows where.
That's why I'm like, I got to get him on the 10-1. I at least got to talk to him.
That's it. And this was a blast. And it's good. I'm glad to actually get a chance to talk to you.
But it's not going to be one time. After you're on once, I keep asking you back.
Oh, I'll be back because I've
Because
got
people don't just have 10 things, right? That's why it's not your top 10. There's
exactly.
no such thing as a top 10 if you're a collector. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely not.
Like,
you have hundreds of top things.
Right. There's some that are always going to be in the top, but it's like there's always going to be that rotation of like the bottom 4 to 5.
Right. And
It's
what you're fascinated with at the moment? What's got your eyes
right.
at the moment?
It's like, oh, I just picked up, this Grail book. Like, yeah, that bumps this one down.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be reaching out. Well, I'm starting to schedule. I got a few more dates to fill up in October.
Will's got himself a really good collection of in-person autographs because he used to work for the Charlotte Knights, which is the AAA team for Boggs. Who's it the AAA team for? I can't remember. The Knights. And he's met a lot of and he's shown them before, some of them, but he's got some good ones, like big time baseball player. The White Sox. Thank you.
Right. Well, when I have him on for in the hot seat, which is a straight interview show, if you want to co-host during that, I'll invite you on as a co-host too.
Yeah, and he is, and you talk about extremely knowledgeable in a lot of sports that I can barely spell.
And just too, also tennis cards. You don't see a lot of what's funny is tennis and hockey are my two favorite sports. I played tennis for over 20 years.
Actually, one second. Talk amongst yourselves a moment.
All right. Come on, a good Gabriella Sabatini card.
Oh yeah.
Possibly, but I haven't yet opened it, and I will be diving into it at some point.
Ooh, look at that.
There's a Hobby Bucks
autographs too.
21 Chrome tennis.
Oh, you're gonna have to check that out, Gary.
Because I saw the box and it was like reasonably priced. I'm like, I've never opened tennis cards, and let's see, because I've sent out 2 tennis autograph attempts. One has come back, the other one did not, and now I just blanked on the one that didn't come back. The girl from Japan who beat one of the Williams sisters. I can't remember her name.
No. I wouldn't know that either.
That's going to drive me crazy.
Right.
But I did get Federer back.
Did you?
Ooh.
Federer signed a magazine. It was
and what a great ambassador he is for tennis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a picture I ripped out of an issue of Cigar Aficionado magazine because I didn't have anything else, and I was like, what the hell, give it a try. And he signed the thing for me. It's like, holy crap, Roger Federer just signed this for me.
Nice. I don't know any tennis players. Martina Navratilova, Chris Evert. That's it.
Really?
Oh. And then what's it? Mr. Grouchy Pants.
John McEnroe.
John McEnroe. Jimmy Connors. I know all those old guys.
Exactly. Yeah. Jimmy, and that's because I would. And the thing is, it's like
Naomi Osaka.
That's it. Yes. I sent her a card and haven't seen that one back yet.
Yeah.
I think I have a Coco Gauff that I want to try to send to her if I can find an address. But there's all kinds of I've sent to so many random people. Like I got the Australian wood chopper who has over 1,000 world championships.
Wow.
Like, because this card came in a thing of Allen and Ginter. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to try it. Found an address for him down in Australia, and it worked.
Yeah, you get some odd cards in those Allen and Ginter ones.
Oh, yeah. And, speaking of which, I
got to get spinach hunt.
Yeah, I've got to get you some for the next spinach hunt. We don't know what the hunt card is for this year because we don't know what the set is. It's coming out, I think, the end of this month. The new Allen and Ginter is coming out.
Nice. But Zach, fantastic show, dude. Great cards. That was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun, and
That's cool.
I was like, you know what? And it got to bust out some of the stuff I haven't been able to look at in a little while. So
and we're definitely going to have you back to do another one too. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But we'll go. So right now we'll go around the table, and we'll see what everyone's got coming up. Jim, we're going to start with you, buddy.
I am currently editing the last. I went out digging, and I knocked on some doors and got some yeses and found some neat stuff and some okay stuff. But I got to put it all together, and it should be Saturday. I'll probably post it. I always try to just post at the same time, so it'd be like 1:00 on Saturday.
So you could do same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter whether it's a comic thing or a digging thing. It's usually Saturday at 1:00. So
that's how to do it. Consistency is key. So I've been told.
So coming up for me next Tuesday, we got Big Herm on.
Big Herm.
Yep, and then from Herm, we go right to Disney Comics on the 5th to talk about. On the 12th to talk about his Kickstarter for his from Disney Comics. I can't. Yeah. I'm blanking on it right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. It's like it's issue 3 though, isn't it? I think he's in issue 3.
Issue 3.
Like issue 3.
And then on the 13th, we got me, Gorby Dow, Robert, and John's Comics with Kids, and we're doing a stream about kindness.
That guy, John's Comics with Kids. That guy.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, and Milt just checked.
Yeah, I just saw that. Like, what? Okay, what else you got lying around there in the vault?
Oh my gosh!
Which is why Pittsburgh has some blackout powers.
Look, to get to know Milt is to be jealous of the cool shit Milt's got.
Yeah, no doubt. Really, that's the only reason why I'm trying to get my wife to go to Pittsburgh. Is so we.
Zach, you would love Milt. One of the nicest people you can ever meet. Milt is just a quality human being all around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look him up on Instagram after this. That's for sure.
And I'll send you his link too to make sure you get it.
Excellent.
But so what's coming up for you, Zach?
I've got one TTM return successfully back so far. Actually, I'll give you a preview.
And you had a new Jank Pack release earlier today.
Yep, the Backstreet Boys photo cards, which was weird.
I'm gonna look that up now. I'm so gonna watch that.
And my first Whatnot show is this Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
We need to talk about that after the show. I have some questions.
Now, what were you saying, Zach?
Because I do on Tuesdays, I get whatever autographs I got back through the mail. So far this week, only got one, but it is a nominee for the all-time name team. Is an IndyCar driver, and his name is Stingray Robb.
Oh, nice.
That is his
Stingray.
legitimate, God-given birth name. Yes, named after the Corvette.
Wow.
Like his parents freely said that they named him after the Corvette Stingray. So his name is Stingray Robb.
Wow.
And he's an IndyCar driver. And I was like, you know what? As soon as I got that card, I'm like, I got sent to him. His name is Stingray Robb.
Right?
And some of them you have to do it like, rest in peace. I know he's been gone, but had he still been alive, I would have sent to Dick Trickle.
Yeah.
Right.
There are some guys you just have to, but
yeah,
because I'm a child at heart, and aren't we all? And then, Thursdays at 7 is Jank Pack Thursday. And then whenever I get it, I get history by mail and whatever else happens in between.
You get some cool history stuff too.
And I love the history stuff. And I love doing it, and I'm glad people have started to enjoy it when I do it.
No Conan books. Gary doesn't sell Conan, Milt.
Yeah, Gary don't sell Conan. I want to see what he is selling. I might try to get a jump on a couple of early things.
It's all loaded. I'm probably going to add some more sets in there to buy it now, but so as always, I want to thank the audience. We had a great audience tonight, very active.
Yeah.
Saw a couple of new faces, so thank you guys very much. And guys, I'm just Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy on Instagram. If anyone's interested in a future show, keep in mind it'll be a few months out because I'm already a few months scheduled. We'll definitely get you on the show if you got a 1011 that you want to do. So always feel free to reach out to me. We'll get you scheduled at some point. We will, whether it's a month down the road or 2 or 3 months down the road, depending on how far out I am. But Zach, it just so happened that I had a cancellation. I was able to get you in earlier than I was going to be able to. So I reached out to you right away because I had always wanted to get you
and
on.
I was like, oh, sweet, that'll be fun. And it definitely was.
Thank you to Jim, as always, for being my co-host. And thank you to Zach for coming on and giving us a spectacular show. Thank you very much, Zach.
Appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
And, of course, 2 shows this week that went to the hour-and-a-half mark. That's when you know you're having fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Because usually I keep these are about 45 to 50 minutes, and those are fun and great too. But we had a lot of stuff to talk about. It was great. But as always, as I like to end these things, thank you all so much. And I gotta find my brand first, Jim. Don't jinx me. And keep it casual.
Bye.